Morning guys, how are we doing? So today I'm going to be doing a podcast sort of reflecting the last 10 years and how I see the next 10 years going, as it's, my 40th today. So we're hitting the 40s, I'm excited, I'm motivated, and I wanted just it's interesting to do some self-reflection on the last 10 years. But we'll come to that in a minute. Just some norms. If you are listening on podcasts, please just literally take fucking 30 seconds to review the podcast. Scroll down the feed of iTunes and make sure you just leave a review. There's like already 2,000 downloads already. So make sure one of you please do that for me. The other thing is if you are watching on video, please drop a share. That'll be amazing for me. I really appreciate that. And if you are wanting to join us next Monday for the next 7-day trial, you need to get your place in early. There's a link on the page. Just click it and go through the registration and get ready to start next Monday. Right. Fucking hell, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years of pain and success. If anyone's life was defined, if I could define my life in any way, it would be a yo-yo. Fucking ups and downs. So it's interesting that this time last year, I was just starting my junior command course, which is my corporal's course in the Royal Marines. So in terms of my career, I had just passed my PT course, which was 8 months long in the Marines. It's probably the fittest I've ever been. And it was a very good time. It was a very good place because I was in a job that I fucking loved, passion for. I was just about to get promoted. It was a big deal for me to get promoted. I always, wanted to be a corporal. I always wanted to be looking after recruits and taking them through training. And it was a really interesting time because professionally it was going well. But actually when I look back and reflect, I was an utter cock. Absolute fucking arsehole. Because I was very selfish. I was very selfish indeed. And a lot of the way that I was, I didn't prioritise the things that were important. I got kind of overwhelmed and swept up with it all, being a physical trainer in the Marines. And, the start of my 30s, I thought I was fucking everything. I thought I've got a world at my feet. And actually, I was just really putting in the foundations for a lot of the pain that was going to be caused for the rest of my 30s, So it pretty much went for, 2008 pretty much was a good year for getting promoted. 2009 started off the year great. Lots of skiing, spent 3 months skiing. Then for the rest of that year, took on loads of recruits. Got those recruits super fit. Took 4 troops through. It was really good. So work was really good right through to 2011. Okay, so we're almost hitting sort of 33, 34. And that's when I decided to leave the Royal Marines. That's when I decided that I didn't want to travel to South Wales every single weekend or North Wales every single weekend. That just seeing the kids for a day and a half just wasn't enough. And that I had to make the life-changing decision of leaving the Royal Marines. And doing this caused the biggest pain in my life, for many of you will probably already know, because it created a massive dent in my life. I guess the only way to describe it is, imagine the person that you've loved absolutely the most. You're deep in love with that person and you have to leave them. And sometimes it's either because you don't want kids, one of you doesn't want kids, or the other one doesn't want to get married, the other person does. So you kind of have to part ways, however you want to look at it. But when I left the Royal Marines, it in some way broke my heart, I think, because it was my life, it was my passion, it was the thing I loved most. I loved it, but I loved my kids more. And at the time when I was married, I wanted to be at home. I wanted just to come home and not have to leave on a Sunday. But as many of you know, most of you know my story. leading up to sort of 2011 to around 2014, I was fucking on the bones of my arse. I was in the pits of despair. I was most definitely suffering with PTSD, although I didn't know what any of that was at the time. I didn't really recognise signs or understand depression at the time. And I think very much that was about I think that a lot of this was based on my ego, having left the Marines, that there's nothing wrong with me, I'm fine. But I knew that I wasn't. And on more reflection now, I can tell that there wasn't. So, you know, I went through that very, very low period of my life, very low. We got divorced. Which was my fault, and broke up the family that came home to sort out, which when you think about it now is fucking ridiculous, because I was such a prick. I still have that ego part of me back then. So, you know, from a very high at the very start of my 30s to very low, where I just fucked everything up. I left, broke up the marriage, but, you know, the shining light was the fact that I was home for my kids. You know, I was there every single day that I needed to be. So things got better. I started my own businesses, started a business offline, like a boot camp, which thrived, still thrives today. And as that grew, I got to know more people. I got to meet positive people. I, you know, learned more about myself. I learned more about running a business. When I first started, I didn't really even know what P&L sheet was, but I was just rolling with it. I had good people around me, and, you know, and it kind of got me to a point that I was happy. You know, I was really happy again. You know, a lot of the traumas that I faced when I left were sort of dying down, and I met Jemima, who is like my rock, and we then had Alba. So I had a third kid, and, you know, then started the dad's coach, which has just gone fucking mental. And everything sort of has slowly worked itself out leading into my 40s. You know, I spent a lot of time developing myself as a human being, in terms of my habits, my routines, my structure, my vision, my purpose, my fulfillment. You know, I've still got some stuff to figure out, but I'm definitely in a lot better place than I was in 2011 when I left in September 2011. It was a real dark couple of years. And now I'm 40. And now I look at it and just think to myself, fucking hell, I've got the next 10 years. Where do I want those next 10 years to go? And those next 10 years, I'm so passionate, like, I'm literally passionate about. I know exactly where I want to be when I'm 50. I know exactly what I want life to look like. I know what I need to do to achieve that. And it's very different, because when I was 30, I didn't even think about where I wanted to be when I was 40. I didn't even know where I wanted to be the next day. Whereas today, I've got vision, I've got ambition, I've got drive, I've got motivation to live. Thanks, bro. And that's what the difference is. It's a massive difference. And I don't feel any different. Like most people will tell you, they will still feel like they are young. You know, and I'm at 40. If I looked at my life when I was a kid and they said, you'll be at this place when you're 40, I would have taken it. You know, I've got to experience so much. I've got to see some of the world. You know, touch wood. I'm healthy. I've got 3 great children. I've got a great partner. I've got great friends. I've got good relationships. I've got good business partners. Everything is kind of set up for a winning life, you know, and which is why I help so many other guys, is because, you know, I've taken myself through that and kind of come out the other side. So I kind of have that experience to be able to help others and help others become successful through their life, because, you know, it's never too late. It's never unachievable. The life that you want to live is there We've just got to create it. We've just got to put the basics and the foundations and the principles into play to make sure that you get to that point where you want to be, you know. And I'm pumped, like I'm ready. I'm definitely ready that I'm 40. And to be honest with you, I'm quite happy to be alive because my dad died at 38. So I wondered whether I always had this thing that I was never going to survive till I was 40. Oh, was he 39? And I think his dad died at 39. And they're all dying of heart attacks, which is probably explains why I'm so I'm a fitness freak. But it's been an up and down. It's been up and down 10 years. But I think it has set my mindset in the right place for the future, to know exactly what I want from life now, to know exactly how I want to conduct myself, how I want to live my life, where I want to be. And for a lot of guys who are struggling right now, who are going through it, you know, you too will use all of that experience to create the life that you want, to be the person that you want to be. And that just takes experience, guys. Brilliant, Simon. I don't think I can open your message because I want to read it. Fucking phone. Yeah, so I'll read that in a sec, Si. But you meet great people. We go through different chapters of our life. You know, right through the 40s, there's no doubt that I'm going to end up hitting different chapters of my life. When I think through the 30s, I hit probably 1, 2, 3, I think 4 chapters over 10 years. At the start, it was the Marines. At the second, it was leaving, the transition and the dark place. The third was the starting of my businesses. And then the fourth was meeting Jemima and having Alba. So, you know, 4 different chapters with 4 different thoughts, 4 different emotions, 4 different visions, 4 different mindsets. And we go through chapters. You know, some of you might be going through a chapter right now to improve your life. Some of you might be going through a chapter now where you just split from a partner and you're getting used to that. Some of you will be going through a chapter, you just started a new job. Some of you will have a chapter where you don't know where to go. You're lost, no identity, and trying to find yourself. Lots of different chapters. But you can get there. It doesn't matter what's happening. You can fucking get to that place you want to be. Every single day we face adversity. And you just got to be able to overwhelm yourself, overhaul it, hurdle it, rather than sort of being stuck on it. And, you know, ask for help. Ask for help. That's what everything's there for. You know, that's what everything's there for, guys. That's what we're there for. The brotherhood's there for. That's what your friends and family are there for. To ask for help, to get to that point where you want to be. So I'm going to leave you to it. Hope you have a great day. We'll catch you tomorrow with some more tips and motivation and stuff. For today, just wanted to share that kind of experience, and hopefully it will inspire you if your birthday's coming up soon. Even if it's not your fucking birthday, you don't have to be turning 40 to just kind of do some self-reflection. Just kind of think about where you've come from, where you're going, what's happening, where's the next 10 years, guys? You know, what's happening? Because how you live your life now will dictate the quality of life you have in 10 years, 5-10 years. So everything you're doing right now, today, what you have been doing over the last week, the last month, the last 3 months, that's the direction you're heading in for 10 years. And if you don't like it, change it. Have a good day, guys.